Episode number 26, The Bellows, Friendship is Magic.
All right, cut to edge of stage. Great. All right, color frost.
Check. 1, 2, 3. Check.
Stand by, please. House to half, house out, letting cues 1 through 10, down cues 1 through 10.
And welcome back to a special episode of The Title Block. I'm your host, Michael Cruz. On this episode, we have another installment of The Bellows, a monthly informal discussion about working in technical theatre. This panel is called Friendship is Magic and features carpenter Kevin Hutson, our moderator, joining writer-director Kat Sandler, technical director Dean Johnson, independent producer Aislinn Rose, technician and stage manager Pip Bradford, and designer and technician Rebecca Vandevelde, discussing how to work with your friends while remaining a professional. Not the easiest of things from time to time. It was recorded live at Theatre Passe Muraille on January 18th, 2015. The first 10 minutes of the introductions was lost because someone forgot to hit record. That was me. It happens. The audio starts here. We pick it up with Rebecca Vandevelde introducing herself, so you didn't miss much. You can find more complete bios at thetitleBlock.com. As well, the audio has been panned in order to facilitate the identification of the speaker with the audio field being laid out as they are presented. From left to right, we have Kevin, Kat, who joins us a bit later in the discussion, Dean, Aislinn, Pip, and Rebecca. Also, remember that these live recordings do cost a small amount of money in mic rentals and such, so your support would be helpful. Go to patreon.com/the Title Block podcast to help support the show. And remember, we just recorded another one of these on February the 22nd, I believe, or February 18th of this month, about why you need a production manager. So I'll be getting that one out as soon as I can. And every month we do broadcast these live on Periscope. So make sure to check the show notes and the Facebook page and Twitter for when that next broadcast is going to happen. So now, without any further ado, here is our discussion about Friendship is Magic.
I played the lead.
Amazing.
That's right.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Vandevelde. I'm a freelance production manager, designer, blah, 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 installation and performance artist with Artist Hard Productions, and now children's theater director and playwright with Cowerman Children's Theater.
Every one of those things we named are just things that we do together.
So we'll talk a lot about those. And I've never really had to measure my time in first show or number of shows because I'm always working on a lot of projects at once. So I honestly couldn't tell you.
Amazing.
I just do it all the time.
Excellent. As discussed, tonight's panel is about nepotism. So, which we all trade in. So when you're working about town, would you say you always work with friends, sometimes work with friends, mostly work with friends? Or just avoid them entirely? Like me, do you have no friends?
Well, that came up when I said at the Theatre Center that I was doing this panel. It got a lot of people wondering if they actually have any friends or if everybody's actually
It's just professionally.
a colleague.
Yeah.
And so I decided maybe I just have a playwright who lives in my apartment with me, who's not actually like a husband, but just is the producer-playwright relationship or something. Franco was quite, I think he became quite concerned that maybe he had no friends. But yeah, I think the lines become always blurred.
Yeah.
But I think, I think we become pretty stale if we only ever work with the people that we know. My hope is not only as we are working on a show, but thinking about creating work, that we're also, I can now see you. That's great.
That's terrifying.
That we're also seeing a ton of work. And it's often when we're seeing a ton of work, we are observing work and receiving work that has people involved that we haven't heard of before. And we start developing little crushes on people that we haven't met before, and then finally get up the courage to say, I'd really like to work with you. And so I think that's a really integral, and I think it's really integral to our development as artists, creators, producers, designers, stage managers, all of that, to always be looking for the people that we should also be working with.
For sure. For sure. That was nicely put.
Yeah, that's like exactly what I wanted to say.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming.
Now we need to think of new things to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I would say that I had an experience recently. I would identify as usually working with my friends. Like, usually the people I work with are people I've worked with before. And I mean, when you say friend, like, that's a really loose sort of term. I mean, there's friendship like the way that, like, Rebecca and I are friends, where we see each other all the time and we work together a lot. But we also have a relationship that goes outside of the work that we do. And then there are people who I'm like, oh, I like you, and we go for beers after we do calls, or like I know that we want to go for lunch, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. And I had a really great experience recently where I ended up working on like the biggest show I've worked on professionally in a long time, Ross Petty's Pantomime. And the nice thing about it was like a 10 to 6 job, and I did it, and then I went home, and no one friended me on Facebook, and no one was like asking me to hang out with them all the time, and it was just so nice to have people that you had a very pleasant, wonderful, professional working experience with. But at the same time, that social pressure just wasn't there.
For sure.
And that was really lovely. And I can't wait to do it again.
Absolutely. Well, I was going to bring that up. I mean, do you prefer always working with friends in a way, or do you like the sort of professional distance or is it just about the environment for you?
I think it's about the environment.
Right,
and I think
right.
it's good to have a give and a take. Like some situations I really want to work with my friends all the time. I mean, and then there are some situations where I'm like, no, please. And especially on a really big show, I think that like working with people that you don't know as well really lends a certain, there's a certain distance, and there's a certain sort of respect for each other and respect for your roles that isn't, I don't want to say absent from working with your friends, because hopefully your friends respect you. Yeah. But everything becomes a little bit more loosey-goosey, and you feel better making much bigger asks than you would just people.
Yeah. I find for myself, I'm really reluctant to befriend people that I've just started working with just because I want to try and maintain that professionalism. Yeah. But as it becomes clear that we get along and we like working together, the relationship becomes a bit more casual.
For sure.
But at the same time, like I still enjoy working with very close friends right from the get-go. It's just a different sort of work. Especially doing the kind of work where I do creative work and production work. When I'm engaged as a production person, I assume that it's not on a friendship basis and that I'm there to lift heavy things, have good ideas, and do what I'm asked to do. Yeah. But the more I work with different people, different companies, the more casual the relationship becomes, where I'm still trying to maintain a level of professionalism, but the work environment becomes more of a casual place.
Right. And how do you strike a balance between every time you talk effectively being a production meeting and still being friends? Like, how does that
There's no way to do that.
Okay, that's just doom.
Kinda.
I don't think we have ever managed to go for a drink together and not have it turn into a production meeting.
Right.
Once I broke up with someone.
Oh, yeah, and then we talked about
And then we
that.
just talked about him.
Yeah, but that's about it.
That's about it.
But I guess you can also. I mean, I think how I've tried to do it in the past is to get the business out of the way the first 30 minutes that you meet, and then
business in the front, and then party
and then put it away. I mean, it'll keep coming up, but I think it's get the business bit done first. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. So with further coordination.
Yes.
Efficiency.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with always work with friends, because when I start every working relationship, it always starts amicably, because working in theater, we're all social creatures to a degree at the very least. We're not in a dark room painting by ourselves, not to
except for all the painters.
Except for all the painters. Hopefully they've got a stereo and one or two
here because they're painting.
Friends.
They're all busy getting a paint.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like for it to start off very friendly, and then we can decide later if we don't like each other.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
Totally. Yeah, I mean, when I started working here, it was 2006 or 2005 or whatever, and we would finish the day downstairs and come up here to the bar, and then the painter would roll in, and we'd shout at her while we drank. So, remarkably, we are still friends with that painter.
I was going to say, you have a real friendly relationship with him.
Totally. What about, I'm definitely just dying to ask this, what about nemesis? Do you have nemesis who you work with, or who you will not work with? There is no need to name names, but please do. I'm joking, you don't need to. But would be awesome.
I have turned down contracts because there's someone that I know that I do not get along with and I don't want to work with.
Right.
Even if I really should have taken that contract.
Just because you need the coin, but you just can't bring yourself to.
Oh, it's never worth the money. It's if it's someone who sucks all of the joy out of the work, it is never worth the money. No. I have a very short list of names
Interesting.
that I will not work with.
Now, awkwardly, you and I have only ever worked together once.
It just got real.
It's totally just got real.
I wouldn't say nemesis, but I have had friendships ruined on
Really?
projects for sure, and I think it comes to what for me is the biggest pitfall or challenge working with friends, which I absolutely love and would like to play every day. But I find sometimes when you work with friends, because you're chummy and you all care about the art, there's just that drive to keep giving. And there are some people who choose not to give equally and encourage you to
Right.
give till it bleeds.
Right. Right.
And that's where I've seen friendships ruined for
So
sure.
are artistic differences primarily, or just like the differences in commitment to a
Differences in
project?
commitment more
Right.
than artistic differences for sure. I can get over artistic differences because everyone has different opinions, and that
For sure.
to me doesn't say anything about you personally, but because I think work ethic is completely essential to yourself as a being.
Totally.
As soon as I question your work ethic, I question you as a person, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
I'm really glad we still work together.
Definitely. So how do you protect yourself? Because certainly there are arrangements when you're working with your friends. You hire your friend for a small part of a project. How do you protect that friendship when the balance in a project is so unequal? Like if you have your own oeuvre, your dream project, and you bring in some friends, like how do you protect them, or how do they protect themselves in that instance?
I think it comes down to choosing the right friends and the right projects, and really you have to keep it in check yourself, because
Right.
having a friendship spoiled is just as much your own fault for choosing to give when another person isn't as committed into a project.
Yeah, for sure.
Communication and expectations.
Yeah.
Great one.
Yeah, really. And also, I mean, there are a number of projects that we've discussed doing together that Rebecca has just completely kiboshed.
It's true. I'm a fun ruiner.
Someone
Amazing.
won't let me
Somebody
have
has to be.
a slumber party at the Fringe Club for the entirety of the Fringe.
And yet you still somehow managed to find a way to make it work for probably one night.
We're gonna have a night of it. It's so great. But yeah, and I think it's just like whenever we come up with an idea that one of the other of us does not particularly care for, we just have to really talk it out. And usually, if you can say why you don't like it, then it's not like either of us wants to rain on the other's parade.
Yeah, no.
I'm speaking for both of us right now. I really hope you're enjoying that.
No. And I think the really helpful thing, especially when I'm working with Pip, but also when I'm working with other friends, is that we establish the boundaries of our working relationship for every new project. And especially when we're working contract to contract, like it's not like we both work long-term for the same company and the relationship is the same all the time. We have the opportunity to renegotiate those boundaries and renegotiate that relationship every time we work together. In our professional practice, like working freelance out in the world and producing art together. So that's really helped to be able to have that conversation refreshed and renewed and revisited every time.
Now, did you find that easy off the bat when you started working together, or did that take time to develop that kind of
Well, we didn't
communication and
start
renegotiation?
co-producing installation art until about 2 years ago, but we had been working together professionally for many years.
Come on down.
Come on up, guys. A second panelist. Oh,
Were there stairs? Did I just miss
There's
them?
stairs over there.
All right. Well, obviously a hobby.
yes.
Hi.
Sorry, guys. I just need you to be quiet for a second. Michael needs something.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, did we bang on the
It was just
table?
my weight.
Sorry.
My stripper pulled up.
Welcome.
So, have you,
We're going to get you to introduce yourself in a second.
yeah. What were we even saying? Kat Sandler just Ruined my thinking.
That before we started
Yes.
producing art together, before we started doing ridiculous shit at the Fringe together.
Yeah.
We also, like, Pip got me hired at the Tarragon, and I was a member of her crew and has hired me as a driver on a project. I've hired her as crew and hired her as...
You just said someone hire me as a production manager for a show you're designing.
Yeah.
Which
so,
is like, why?
the spectrum of circumstances that we work together allows the opportunity to completely renegotiate that relationship, every contract.
Right on.
Which is good.
So you knew each other for long enough that it was never an issue. You just knew each other professionally well enough to be able to define that.
And I would say we have gotten better at it.
Yeah, it's definitely something we have to work at.
Yeah.
Like, it's an effort not that it's difficult to work with you, but that it's something that you have to actually try. You can't. Nothing just magically clicks.
It's been a long time since we had a conversation that ended in me just going, but why? But why? For like 5 minutes. So,
Amazing.
We're killing it.
Tell her to stop being whiny, and then we'll move on.
But that's important.
Yeah.
To have that if you're working with friends, to be able to say, stop being whiny.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have that ability to be honest and brutal and actually say what you're thinking instead of taking it home and punching your pillow. I think it's...
That is my preferred method, for sure. This just in, breaking news on my left. Who are you and what do you do?
My name is Kat Sandler. I am a writer and director in the city, and I'm the artistic director of Theatre Brouhaha.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And just because you're doing a show at my theater right now, do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm doing Mustard at the Tarragon Theatre. We open the 10th. That's when we open.
Oh my God.
And it's a play about imaginary friends that say fuck a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I've built most of the set already.
It's
So we
awesome.
should be okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's my plug.
And as we just discussed, tonight's panel is about nepotism, or how to work with your friends and stay friends.
Real ones and imaginary ones.
Absolutely.
I have a lot of both.
So changing tact, a lot of the audience here is from Humber. Thank you so much for coming. I know my first gig in the city was here, and I was hired by a friend of mine from school. Do any of you still work from your friends from school? Work with your friends from school? Are any of them even still in the city? Did any of you go to school?
I can throw it out there. I did not go to theater school, but I did do shows in school, so I get a little bit of a cheat.
Right.
And one of the only people from school that I still work with is Lisa, who's in the audience. Lisa built the set for my thesis project, even though I was taking a liberal arts degree. They still let me do a show for credit. And Dean went to Glendon as well, which is also not a theater school. But
It's nice though.
but like, it is just like within the last year or so that's ever even come up. Otherwise, like, my university friends are people who like work for the government.
I started Brouhaha with someone that I went to school with, and then he did a course at U of T. He did his master's there, and we stole a producer from his master's course.
Amazing.
And then when we started working with people like Dean and Lindsay, it was all those people that had gone to school together. So I find school, and a lot of our actors are from George Brown, and I met them through each other. So I think school groups are super useful.
Definitely.
I went to school in Montreal and theater school, and so none of them are really here. I mean, there are a few people that I met at school that I was friends with at school, not in the same program or the same class necessarily, who are working in the industry in Toronto, but like Andrew Lamb, who runs Roseneath. We were in different theater departments, but we were RAs together, residence assistants. We were floor partners in our residence. Yeah.
Now, would you consider working with him again, or do you know too much at this point?
No, Andrew's awesome. Yeah, he's actually awesome.
I love me Smith with him,
yeah.
Because he used to go to Tarragon,
Yes, of course.
obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. My nemesis and I went to school together.
That's how you
Like your
became
current
nemesis.
theater nemesis
My
now?
current theater nemesis now. You missed the nemesis question.
Like whipping this out.
Do you have a nemesis?
Yeah, Ashley Britton.
You just went there.
Is this live stream?
Yeah, we're live
She's
streaming
not
this.
really my nemesis. That was like my like childhood nemesis. Not I have nothing to do with this conversation. I think she might be in theater though, so I'm just kidding. immediately. I'm gonna get murdered when I go home.
Actually, I don't work with any of the people I went to school with, but Locke Ma is the head of props at YPT, and Andrew Rafuse is the head carpenter at a theater out in Calgary, and Jordan deals cocaine. So we don't really know what happened to Jordan.
He's probably doing pretty well.
He's probably doing pretty okay.
That's our whole graduating class.
Yeah, that's my entire graduating class. I went to Dalhousie, and there were only 4 of us. And last time I ran into Jordan, I was on a streetcar, and he was like blinging it. So
it's a recession, so he's definitely doing it.
So just so you know, I actually do work for Jordan. I wish.
Don't do drugs.
Amazing. Don't do drugs.
No. That's
Those of you who
message.
do work with your friends very often, is there a unique revenue model you use with friends? Is there? How do you? I know it's a sensitive question, but how do you let money delicately float around your friendship?
I actually wouldn't mind talking about working with. So Michael Wheeler and I have run Praxis together for the last several years. He founded with Simon Rice, a friend of his who we went to school with.
Excellent.
Or actually, I don't think they went to school together. It doesn't matter. They founded Praxis Theatre several years ago, and then 2010 I came in as artistic producer, and then Mike and I carried on together. And so that I would say we didn't start as friends. We came in as peers who were interested in working with each other, and then developed a friendship out of it. But one of the things I've always really enjoyed is that we've always worked as partners, even like as we became more and more friends. And whenever there was a project that we either had funding or didn't have funding for, he refused to ever be paid more than me on any project that we were working on. So if he was directing a project that I was producing, or whatever our various roles were on that, where if I was building the budget and would say, well, there's not enough for a producer fee, but there definitely should be a director fee, then he would say, well, then cut my director fee in half, and that's our fee. And I think I have a lot of respect for that, because I'm the first person who will cut my fee to make sure that everyone else is getting like a fair share. And I think that says that he's actually also willing to do the same thing.
Right.
And I think that's really important.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I would say friends ideally don't make friends work for free, but when they're really, really good friends, there's an equation about how many days you've been friends versus how many beers they're gonna owe you after they've made you work for free.
I think it really depends on what you're doing. Like when I first started out, someone said, you're going to get better work from anyone, your friend, someone you know, if you are paying them something. So from the very first show we ever did, we said, we don't know what the fuck's going to happen. We were idiots and we rented the factory backspace, like first show at the gate, right out of school.
Foolish,
But we broke even. But we said no matter what happens, we will give everyone involved $100. So there were 14 people involved. We were like, we will get everyone $100.
That's tough.
And regardless of if we lose the shirts off our back. And that, it's something. It's not it's not a, we'll have a sleepover or like, we'll play Bop It. Like it's a real, it's like our tangible thing. And we signed like shitty little contracts and it meant something. And now we still like, and even if it's not someone that's in a, like when we do builds, we'd always say, okay, well at least we'll spend $200 on beer and pizza and have a party for like, we'll pay you, but your friends that I don't know, I don't have to, like you bring them in and they get beer and pizza.
Right. Yeah, I've definitely worked for like a 6-pack an hour. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've definitely
That's like minimum wage.
Totally, yeah. I thought it was great.
Although, like, hundreds of times we've tried to work together, you won't hire me because you can't pay me.
I know, because it depends on when you meet someone.
Absolutely.
Because to me, Pip, I can't be like, you can't work. To Pip, I see her as, because I met her on shows where we were both paid.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I can't pay you beer now. I'm just kidding. Now I'll pay you.
Please.
I'll pay you.
Please.
I'm going to have one less friend after this.
Wow. Friends made and lost.
Working with former friends.
Next panel.
Yeah, totally.
And I think it's worth making a difference between asking a friend to work for free and calling in a favor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we're all gonna keep dealing in favors. I'm gonna say, I know we said we were gonna hang out and watch Game of Thrones tonight, but actually I need you
to write a grant.
Or at the time I was like,
That's a shit train.
All the time.
no,
I still haven't seen all of Game of Thrones.
It works really well if I say, I'm really sorry that we can't go see a show tonight or go to the movies, but I do need to go to IKEA. And I need someone to help me carry things.
I like IKEA.
Yeah. For example. But like you're always gonna need to call in favors, especially from your friends, because they're the people who will forgive you for needing to do a thing this time.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between that and asking your friends to work for free.
It's also being really this is such a kettle of worms? Fish. Can of worms.
Yes.
Because money and friends is what is the shitty fucking bullshit thing all the time. I'm sorry, I don't know.
No.
Yeah, you can. It's cool.
But what I'm learning now is you have to be so clear up front about what it is rather than at the end when either you've made money or lost money.
Yeah.
Like if you're working on a profit share, obviously equity stuff is all up front, but then no one gets angry.
But the flip side to that is when you say yes.
Yeah.
If you are asked a thing that is a bit of a favor, or maybe it's a half paid, half favor, whatever it is, and you're saying yes to that to a friend or actually to anyone, is also being then clear in what you're actually able to accomplish.
Yeah.
Totally.
So
right.
not saying, "Yep, I'm your guy for that," and then doing a really shit job because you don't actually have the time to do it.
Yeah.
Because other stuff is paying you fully.
Yeah.
Or not even, like you've just taken on too many shit things that aren't paying you, and because you've fallen in love with every one of them. These times do happen.
Totally.
But to say, you know what, I can do this part of that thing, and I have a friend who's looking for a little more experience who might be willing to take on this other part. And so it's not just being clear in what you expect of the person that you're asking to do a thing. It's also when you're saying yes to say, this is what I'm capable of. Do you want it? And if not, you should ask somebody else. I've often said no. I would do a really bad job at that. So don't no.
Fair enough.
We like to be really upfront when we ask people to work for free. Like Rebecca and I, when we do our projects often require a lot of different hands. For reference, most recently we've done a couple of interactive art projects, including Flip the Table at the Toronto Fringe Festival.
Which was a blast.
Which
So good.
everyone loved. Actually, oh my God, I have to tell you about your flip later. We actually wrecked something that we weren't supposed to wreck.
Was it the laptop?
No, the phone. The phone. And,
but like we require on a lot of we rely on a lot of volunteer labor for those sorts of things, and those are our friends, and we're asking them a favor.
Yeah,
but our ask is like, can you give us 4 hours, and we'll buy you beer,
and can you just come and hang out in the Fringe Club, and like your job is really low key. Like we're not asking you to like scrub labels off beer bottles and do lots of crazy, awful.
Although we were asking them to clean
the worst thing I could think of.
Broken glass.
Yeah, they loved it though.
Yeah.
Like they were so into it. Also, like just for reference, like all of these people are my friends who I asked to be on this panel, and I'm paying them in drinks tonight. Like, heyo.
The days to beers ratio.
Yeah, it's the days to beers ratio. You have to do this for an hour.
I came from work.
Yeah.
But I think people are more willing to say yes to a free or an unpaid gig if you are also unpaid. I think if you have a full-time job somewhere. If I have a full-time job at the theater center and I ask you to come in and do something for me at the theater center, it would be completely unethical of me to ask Pip to do it for free.
I have offered to do so many things for free for the theater center, and they turn me down every time.
No one wants you to work for free, Pip.
Can't give this away.
Oh dear.
New question.
This one's making us sad.
So nothing about revenue models then. That's we're just nothing about.
Oh man, you actually asked a question.
Oh right, that
question.
question.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we produce our own work, we don't make money. We lose money, but we lose the money
Sometimes.
Once we made a little bit of money.
We made a little money on Flip the Table.
Flip the Table was not an entirely financial failure.
That's crazy because you broke a lot of things. Like that's a lot of stuff to destroy.
It was expensive. It was very
100%
expensive.
creative success.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But for example, we did the portrait studio this past year at the Fringe, and we lost a bit of money because it was a very expensive thing to do.
Quite.
But we made sure to split the loss evenly.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Like basically what we did is Rebecca added up her receipts and I added up my receipts, and then we took what was left of the money and like made sure that each of us lost like $200. Or like
it was a little
$400 or, well, Becca.
Yeah, anyway.
I don't feel like sharing our financial woes.
But you know what I mean. Yeah, we just make sure that we always make the same amount, whether it's nothing, whether we're losing money,
Negative
breaking
or
even.
positive, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's important. As long as the gains and losses are equal, and that's kind of the way that the profit shares have always worked, and that was always the selling point. Is everyone's agreeing to do this project that they may or may not make money on, and it could be a lot of money, it could be no money, but as long as it's all split up equally, and you're all aware of what the budget is, and you're all communicating.
The budgets are usually open, and that's a big selling point.
Yeah.
It's like, I will profit share this, but if you want to go and see the budget, then you can. But where it starts to get messy for our model is when, like, when I started Brouhaha, I didn't ever used to take a cut as producer or as a writer. There were no royalties, so I was just paid as a member of the profit share, which meant that I was doing a lot of other jobs and being paid for one, which now, because I'm doing less restaurant work except for tonight, I have to take more, which is you have to then kind of be up front. So it's a designer who comes in 2 days, you say, are you comfortable with taking a half share? Because the actors are taking 6 weeks off their restaurant jobs to do this. So like we, on average, our like profit share is $300 to $800 for a very well sold 3-week run, which is super depressing.
Yes. Well, I was about to ask about hierarchy in reference to, revenue models and profit sharing, because it sounds like if you're a GM whose sort of natural enemy is the AD, and you work with that.
I think that's unfortunate when that happens. That actually should be the exception to the rule. Franco and I at the Theatre Center are very much partners in everything we do. And in fact, in some cases, he's saying, are you sure we can afford it? And I'm like, we have to do it. It's such good art or whatever it is. And that's the ideal, I think. I don't know. I guess I can't speak to other theaters. But yeah, so the natural enemies thing, no, I won't have it.
All right, good. Good.
But that goes to like
redacted.
But in those relationships, those power relationships, speaking like on a panel about friends, it's so convenient if those people can become your friends or you can make them your friends somehow, especially when you have to work so closely together with larger sums of money, which is why I feel like so many of us aim to hire and cast and work with people that complement ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a thing.
Well, in that sense, then maybe, the smaller show is a better model. Like if you're a producer, playwright, and, by default, writer and all kinds of other things, do you find it easier to hire your friends to fill roles, or do you find it easier to get, somebody you may not have worked with before on a sort of more professional basis to fill those roles because it's easier to have those boundaries?
I think it depends what you want.
Right.
Like if I want a set designer that is different from what I normally work with, I will meet with set designers and choose the one that is most likely to be able to do it, work on our budget, and also that you click with, because especially when working with the amounts of money that we work with, that you can't, it's just not worth it to fight with someone.
For sure.
Like at this level, fighting over $100 is not worth it anyone's time, which happens. Which totally happens.
Absolutely.
But do you find it easier to bring in more casual acquaintances to fill specific roles for a specific amount of profit share dollars, or is that a more friend-based thing?
There absolutely is something to be said for finding people with whom you don't have that kind of really close relationship, because it is a little bit easier to be. You don't want to give them you want to give everyone as much as you obviously possibly can, but I think that there just isn't a sense of obligation. Right. To be honest with you, like I don't feel like you did me all these favors in the past, or you and I have had this long friendship. One of the things that I find really interesting that has happened to me recently is that recently I have gained something of a reputation of being a person who you just get in touch with when you need a job, when you need a place to be. And I'm like a one-woman job board. And I'm just like, do you need a stage manager? Let me just find you like 6 stage managers. Anyway, sorry, banging on the table. And I had a friend recently who got in touch with me and was like, Pip, I want to start doing some crew work because I'm an actor and I just am not getting a lot of jobs right now. It's a bit of an oversaturated market. He's like, I'd love to start doing some crew work. And I was like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I can't do that for
Are
you.
you
Like,
any good at it?
well, the thing is, like, I was like, Eric, I know you. Like, you don't necessarily have the skills that I need. And like, yes, it's great to be good at lifting things, but if you don't know what the thing is I just asked you to lift, you can't find it and bring it to me.
Yeah.
like if I'm going like, I just need this whole stack of 2x4 moved inside, and then I walk away and you're going like,
What's a 2x4?
then it's just not really useful to me. Like, a strong back and good legs is great to a certain extent, but it won't get you everywhere.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Okay, Kat. Bring it back. I know I said 18 plus. Anyway.
Fantastic. What if your friend hates your idea? What if you bring in a friend and you just like, you thought you were going to be great friends, and it just didn't happen? They just full stop.
It's an artistic conflict, or it's a friend conflict? You're saying your friend doesn't like your artistic idea?
Yeah, artistic ideas. Let's start there.
That's tough. I think that's a really hard thing to get around. I think a lot of it depends on what position you're both in, because if you're in a supervising position, or they're in a supervising position and you're their friend, you kind of sometimes have to give to the supervisor, or
Yeah. Right.
and sometimes it's not worth holding on to a single artistic belief and ruin a friendship in the process. Sometimes you just have to take a chance on their idea.
Right. All right. Well, as a carpenter,
If
if you have a method, because I bump into this fairly often. If you have a methodological difference, whereby like I'm going to do it this way so it stays up,
and we're having a big safety fight.
Yeah.
It's hard not to hardline that.
Yeah.
And say, you know what, you can continue to do your thing, but I'm going to do it the way that I said, and then we can talk about that later. That's totally happened before.
Has it ever gone wrong for you? Like, have you ever caught something for that? Because I certainly have.
I've had arguments, but nothing that couldn't be settled over a beer or two. Because at the end of the day,
You want the same thing.
You want the same thing, and especially when it comes to safety, nobody wants to see somebody get hurt. So when it's an argument about safety, it's a pretty clear one.
Yeah.
When we were doing Cockfight, I was like, I want to have a giant bonfire in the middle of the storefront. And Chris was our PM, and he said, no. And I said, well, I'm the director, so we had a tiny fire in a bucket, and it was great, because we both wanted there to be a fire. It wasn't safe.
Yeah, for the record,
at
there's
all.
nothing legal about that
It was
whatsoever.
not legal,
Yeah.
but
It was a fire extinguisher.
It looked great, and everyone got what they wanted. But you just try to surround yourself with people that will call you on your bullshit. Obviously, we couldn't have had a bonfire. Like, what the fuck was I thinking? But, yeah, it would have been awful.
The Bellows does not advocate anything she's saying. No fires.
But
Don't do
you-
fires.
you
Don't
just
have no fires.
Choose people that
Yeah.
are going to tell you when you're being stupid, and hopefully you trust them
For sure.
when they do.
That's a
I
friend
don't know
thing
how
to
it
do.
is at the storefront.
It's a friend thing to do, to say, hey, you're going to hurt yourself.
Or
Yeah.
that's a terrible,
That's a terrible idea.
I
Or
care-
Pip, you
I
can't
care
sleep
about
in a
you.
tent for 2 weeks in a parking lot.
Pip, I don't think
God.
it's very safe.
But why?
I know you're gonna bring your own hammock, but maybe we shouldn't have a sleepover in the French Club.
But why?
Yeah, I have to say, if one of us has an idea that the other is totally not on board with, we table it and move on. Like, we have to both be fully committed to a project before we'll really move forward with it.
And sometimes we actually get to like quite an advanced stage with a project. Like,
What do we back out of?
the one where we did interviews with people. I took their wallets. And looked at Sorry, I'm snapping.
We had to completely revisit that idea, and then eventually I came back around to it, and
But even then, we didn't do it. We've never done it, and I don't think we ever will do it.
We had it was called Pop Quiz.
Quiz.
We were gonna do something where we brought people up on stage and used like the contents of their pockets and wallets to initiate conversation and interview them about themselves. But the context of the original idea, I was very uncomfortable with because I knew I would hate to be that person.
I have zero stranger danger, so I'm like all in.
And so we fundamentally disagreed on the project, where I was like, I would hate to be that person. I don't think this is the right audience for it. I think we were going to propose it for summer works or something.
Next stage.
And then we eventually came around to it, and we did propose it for next stage.
Oh yeah, we just didn't get picked up right.
Because for some reason I was all of a sudden like, oh, it's going to be in the cabaret or in the like little bar space at Factory. Yeah, I'm totally comfortable with this now because that's a safe space.
And I will never understand why she thinks that, but I totally respect it.
I came around to it because I was like, next stage audiences, I will talk to you as a stranger, and I will.
Not so works out. Oh, buddy. Buddy.
I am inclined to agree.
Also, you're just describing stealing people's wallets.
But it was more. It was all going to be consensual, and there was going to be a safe word where you could bail.
We were going to talk to you about it.
But anyways, like we've had projects like that where I've been like, I would never do that, and even though, and then eventually came around to like, actually maybe this in this context it could be okay. So like nothing is ever forever off the table, but if we aren't on board with it, it's gone for now.
Something we got rid of, but I can't remember what it was.
I'm sure there was.
I forgot it.
So, hasn't it ever gone wrong for either of you or anybody at the table? Like, is it ever just like, is there any? What I'm asking is, between the two of you friends, is there any deep secret resentment that we can have boil over here right now? I think is what I'm actually asking.
Well, I mean, we got the chance to really act out on that because we did Pie in the Face twice.
And we'll do it again.
Oh yeah.
We love Pie in the
Pip
Face.
got to pie me in the face, so she was mad at me. I'm really hoping that was a chance to expunge that resentment.
Oh
and
no,
that
pop quiz happened after that.
Oh, okay. So we
Yeah.
have to do Pie in the Face
One more
again
pie
to
in the
get it
face,
out of
right
our
on.
system.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know where the game changes, I find with pals, is remounts. It's like the first time it's one thing and everyone's really excited to get it up and it doesn't matter what you make and we love each other, and the second time they're like, oh, is there money now? Cool, here are my new conditions. And then, like, me too.
Whoa.
It's but not like no one's a real dick about it, but it is when you've done something once to success, the second time the relationships change a little bit.
And I think that I've been wondering this, since we started this conversation, is the difference between passion projects and money / job
totally.
projects. And going back to that question of artistic differences and whether you should say yes or whether you should ask a person, if it's a passion project, like bring the right people on board, and the right people are the people who are also passionate about the project. Right. And if you identify yourself early on as actually not so passionate in the project, you should, carefully extract yourself, or be willing to be an outside eye, for instance. But that I think once. I see the same thing. I see the same thing as well. If something does really well and it's picked up, or it really does change the dynamic, or can change the dynamics. But I think that goes back to, there is some money now, and so the relationships are bound to change.
They should. But
they should. Yeah. But it can be a bit of a heartbreak to go from something that felt we're all in this together to now it's you have hired guns on a project.
Right.
Even if you have the money to do it, it is a bit heartbreaking for that relationship to change in that way, but it's going to, and it's good. It's something to know in advance and approach the remount with that knowledge. But I'm not. This is more of my pre-theater center, freelance producing, what have you. When I've seen projects change in form, it can be a bit heartbreaking to think, we're not still all in this together. We're all in it for the job.
Yeah.
Right. Does that just boil down to just success changes the name of the game, or just
Money.
the added money, basically?
money.
Yeah.
Especially money.
Some of the most disappointing moments, have been instances where I helped a friend on a show, and then when they finally got some money to remount it, they hired a real designer.
That's dirty.
Yeah, and that's the sort of thing where you're like, I understand that now this isn't about both of us, it's about you.
Yeah.
So it hasn't happened to me very often, but occasionally that'll happen, and you have to sort of reevaluate how that relationship was working and what you were giving to the project versus what they were getting out of the project.
Right.
I find too there's a difference with friends who work very often and have work with money, and then friends who come and the ones that come and then work with you on whatever. If you're doing a project with less money, they're more used to a certain set of standards, and like we rehearse and like dirty murder basements. People are like, "What is this?" And we're like, "This is your rehearsal space. Enjoy." So, and no one's a huge dick about it, but it is a shift in your mind space.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, working with designers who are accustomed to having teams of people to do the thing, where their job is to design the thing and someone else will source the materials and build it or make it or sew it or what have you, to come in on a more indie level project where there's one person in charge of costumes. There's one person, and that's you to design it and make it appear in the room.
Yeah.
That can be quite a shock.
For sure. Do you think it's easier for people to upscale or downscale in that way? Like, because we're just saying how success changes the game.
I think it's, from my perspective, it's easier to upscale. Going from freelance producing to producing, I produced for 2 Luminatos, where I was going from producing, shows that had $30,000 budgets to I did 1 Luminato year where I was producing 8 shows, one of which was $1 million show.
I was supposed to say 30,000 isn't that much.
Yeah, well, 30,000, yeah, but then going to $1 million show plus 7 other shows. And also in that case, not having to be responsible for the revenue lines, it, blew my mind. What do you mean I don't have to worry about? Yeah. But where one line item on a budget was equal to or greater than the indie show. Like the contingency line is the indie show.
One other show.
But for me it was like, I'm just adding zeros. I'm just adding zeros, and what do you mean there's a department to do all of that work that I normally did all by myself? Right. But I think if you get used to that, if that's your starting point, to suddenly then be responsible to the point of, like, as a producer, for instance, if I don't make a house program, there's no house program, can blow your mind, and you end up making house programs at 3:00 in the morning the day before opening.
I'm a really good folder of programs for that reason.
I
totally.
have one of those special long staplers to staple. I own it for that reason.
Amazing.
3:00 in the morning, stapling centers of programs. Yeah,
fantastic.
I think that's harder. I really do. I think it's harder.
Huh. Do you miss the excitement more, or do you miss the money more when you move those levels? Like, would you rather be working just tiny little bits with your friends, or, living expenses aside?
I actually struggled a bit with Luminato in that more so my second year. My first year, I was more involved in, I actually had to re-piece. There was one of the shows that I was working on, had only ever been done once by a number of different people in the States. And so doing it here in Toronto meant a lot of reassembly, but also finding a whole bunch of aspects in Toronto and rebuilding the show. Whereas often it can be bring the show in, put the show up, take the show down, send the show away. I actually struggled a lot my second year doing, even though I was working with Pina Bausch Dance Company, which was a thrill, mostly a thrill because I got to sit in on. I
have no idea what you're talking about. We're all sighing.
It's a big deal.
Sit in the dress rehearsal and what have you, and but that show opened the year I was born. So it's been around. It knows how to do itself.
Yeah.
And so I actually struggled a lot for 6 months producing for Luminato, where I actually didn't feel invested in the quality of the work or how it was coming together. And I was longing for my indie freelance producer days of being there from day one, of whether it's day one of the idea or day one of the read or whatever, that to have your hands be filthy in the work. I missed that.
I don't think it can ever just be about the money. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing art. Like, we'd be making millions of dollars doing any other industry at the local business factory or something.
Yeah. You say that's where the business.
Do you wear the local business suits as well?
Yeah. Not everyone can be an industrialist, Dean.
Yeah.
With metal parts.
Yeah, not everyone can be an industrialist.
That's fair enough. No, because my own experience with that is, I do one lighting design a year. It's for puppet mongers, and I love them to death. and it's brilliant. And I love lighting design, legitimately, but I don't think I could actually do it professionally.
You're
Because
Dora nominated.
I am, whatever. But, like,
You're a very good designer.
but I don't think I could do it professionally because
Everyone's a lighting designer?
Well, yeah, everybody's a lighting designer, but also like it's too much fun. Like it's only fun if I get to play around.
I'm sorry. It's too much fun, so you can't do it.
Because if I did it as a job,
Yes.
then I'd have to take gigs that I
Don't
not excited
wanna
about,
do,
right?
yeah.
Whereas
Okay.
it's slightly different being a carpenter. Whereas like most of the time it's a set, chop, 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 done, and send it out the door, and it's great, and I had a great time, and I love building stuff. And then if I'm lucky, I get to build a piece of furniture that does a trick or X, Y, and Z. But it's a more sustainable like zone for me to be in where I can sometimes it's just a bunch of flats and I can crank it out and don't care, and that's kind of great.
But enough of the time there is.
Yeah, enough of
pieces
the
that
time
turn
there's
you
one
on,
or two
and
pieces where
that's really what keeps
I
you
actually
going.
turn the switch and get to be a human being looking at a challenge.
Yeah.
Is the dream just to be able to work with your good friends all the time, doing exactly what you love? That's the dream, right?
Yeah.
That's what we want. But would it still be the dream if we couldn't ever have it? Like, if we just did that, would I be like, oh, God, I hate Dean. I don't ever want to work with him again? Like,
Well, then we would only work with people we had already encountered before.
Yeah.
And that's very disappointing to think of.
Right on.
And then, like, as we were talking about earlier, I think that then your whole life would become your work. Like, all of your friendships would be so, like, you would just, like, let your work take over your entire life, and you would never have that, like, those moments.
Is that not
Okay, so maybe that is how I live.
That's how we all live.
Yeah.
but do you find that I find I work mostly with friends vetted by friends. So Dean used to
Yes.
Dean used to do all of my tech, and then he was like, I can't do this show, but Lindsay could do it, and then Julian, and now I work with them. And then when
Right.
they one day are like, I don't like you anymore, I'll be like, who's your friends?
Amazing.
That's why Kat's here.
Yeah.
Just, you know, harvesting.
Bring on the friends.
Give me all your
Because then I
friends.
don't have to meet them. I already know someone I like that I respects and likes
Amazing.
them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that's the dream?
Yeah.
I don't know what the
To
dream is.
always have someone at least vouched for.
Yeah, a pedigree.
Yeah. This is
What
just
resonated for.
Well, yeah, I know where you came from.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's kind of what the Bellows is founded on.
Absolutely.
Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, this has arced its way to a natural, beautiful conclusion. So, what do we all do now that we've reached the mountaintop?
Are we there?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
mountaintop.
We're here.
Wait,
Yeah, this stage and
the people I'm working with are like,
yeah, totally. So, what do you do now? What was next? What's next? Now you just get to work with your friends all the time, doing what you love.
You don't. You can't. You can't.
You just can't do it.
I don't think you
I
can
don't
have
think
that.
so.
My friends don't have any money.
But it's the dream.
Sorry, Becca.
Yeah.
But the going away and working on shit that you don't like with people that maybe aren't your friends makes the times that you get to work with your friends and you gel and you have that beautiful, like, working on a passion project, finishing each other's sentences, birthing something from an idea to production to whatever, that makes those moments the more beautiful.
For sure.
Yeah. You got to do at least like 2 garbage projects a season to be able to really appreciate how good you've got it.
Only 2.
They don't have to be garbage because they make you miserable, but they can be at least like, this is stupid. I don't care.
I'm going to disagree with that. I think the goal is to never say yes. The goal is to get to a point where you never have to say yes to a thing you don't want to do.
Right.
I was so lucky to get to that point as a freelance producer that I was able to say no to, I could read a script and go, this script will do well. You should do the script, but don't hire me to produce it because I'm not interested, which was a nice place to get to. But I think the thing that we always have to be striving towards in everything we do is the ability to take a risk. So the risk is generally going to be on the person that you don't know.
Right.
So it's me going to Kat's show and saying, I've never worked with that actor before, I've never worked with that designer before, or holy shit, I've never worked with that space before, whatever it is, and saying, it's out of my comfort zone, we're not friends, but I think we could be.
Aww, beautiful.
Nice. Quick, end it.
Yeah.
Actually, we have to take questions from the
Step up to it. We're
floor.
never going to get better than that ending, so please, if you have questions, come on
Are we
up.
recording that or something? We totally
Absolutely.
In so many ways we were recording that.
Amazing.
Hey guys,
Hi.
what do you guys think about being more than friends with people you work with?
That's it.
So I swore that I would never date anyone in the industry. And then I realized I would just never date anyone if I was just gonna keep it at that. Mm-hmm. So on December 20th, so Christmas Eve of 2013, I married playwright Nicholas Bion. And I tweeted about it. We got married it was 11 a.m. because it's Christmas Eve, and who wants to officiate weddings on Christmas Eve? But I knew the person, and they were willing to do it on a Norm Foster set at Theatre Orangeville. Yeah,
No, you did
were
not.
nine people on the stage. It was and we were about to do Next Stage together. So it was December, and obviously Next Stage is January. And he was the playwright. It was for a play called Rifles. And he was doing an adaptation of a Bertolt Brecht play. And so I tweeted out a photo from our wedding on a Norm Foster set, Christmas play. I didn't want to bother with fussy contracts, so I married the playwright. And I think Chris Abraham was like, ha, 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 ha. And then suddenly saw the deluge of, oh my God, congratulations tweet. And he wrote back like, wait, what? Like that was, he thought I was joking. So we got married at 11 a.m. We went for breakfast with my family and his family at a diner. We got back to my parents' apartment, who live in Orangeville, and I said, okay, I need a new draft from you. And so the afternoon that we got married, he was doing a new draft of Rifles for Next Stage. And that's just sometimes how that works is... yes, that it's totally doable, but you also have to be able to say, we're being like a couple right now, but now I need a new draft of a script from you, and time's a ticking, so get on it. And it's again those all going back to, what are the expectations? What are my expectations of someone that we've brought onto a project? What are the expectations of the person who's saying yes to doing the project? And then striving always to meet those expectations. And so though that does not change if you happen to be more than friends.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just be aware of when you've slept with someone, if you feel like you can direct them. Well, I usually do feel that way.
Yeah.
Sorry for clapping.
Hopefully.
I met my current partner at work, actually, and so I think it can work really well, but it's important to do the personal life, professional life boundaries is really what makes it happen.
For sure.
And sometimes that is saying that we won't work together. Like if you try it and it doesn't work, then that's great that you know that, and then just never do it again. I know that's how some couples work as well. Is just never together.
Like every professional romantic relationship or sexual relationship I've ever had has resulted in me not working with them.
Oh, really?
For the duration of our relationship, generally. Yeah.
I have a funny anecdote. My partner does not work in theater, and we are really close and awesome, and everything's great. And part of that is because he understands my job, but he is not directly involved in it at all.
That's
It's pretty great. But the funny thing is that before I worked in theater, I did a lot of retail work. I did a lot of food service work. I waited tables. I did all kinds of fun stuff. Come on up. But he got me hired at his work where we both sold cheese. We worked at a cheese shop together, and he was my supervisor.
That's amazing.
Like a year into dating, and then a couple of years later, or the next year, I was working at a bakery, and I got him hired there, and I was training him. And we worked at another, we've worked together a lot. And I used to do front of house work for the Fringe, and I hired him as a bike courier. Mm-hmm. So, despite the fact that we don't work in theater, one of the things that is an indicator to me of why our relationship works is that we can say, okay, in this today, I really need you to just, deliver some tickets to Passe Muraille on your bike. They're running late. I'm sorry that the person who sent them, who's going to be there, is going to yell at you. Please just do this. But he was getting paid. It was a job, and I wasn't the only person he was working with. So, in that context, it's possible to work together with someone, even if it's not on a passion project for theater. You can still work in retail together and not hate each other.
For sure. Please.
So in the same vein,
How have you avoided the perception of conflicts of interest when working with significant others or friends on projects?
Is that even a thing we care about? Like,
it comes up.
Yes.
Comes up.
I've actually never heard it come up. To be perfectly honest, I've never heard it come up. And there's been plenty of times when I've thought, and then just went, eh.
Have you never worked on a project where you've been like, well, of course you hired your fucking wife? Like, have you not worked?
I think the wife hiring the husband. Hey.
Because she had a
I'm
specific
thinking of a
anecdote in mind,
specific
obviously.
example.
Yeah, totally.
You go
ahead. Pip, you run the town. You should go first.
Oh my God! Wow.
Well,
What I was going to say is that I think that the reason that Kevin doesn't feel like that comes up a lot for him is I think that it comes up a lot more creatively, and you tend to work very much more production related stuff, and so at that point you kind of like you can hack it or you can't.
Right.
Whereas, you know what I mean? Like either you know how to hang a light and focus it, or you don't.
Right.
And so it's a lot harder to get people hired, although not impossible. Not impossible. Whereas I feel like when we're talking about like when you are working creatively with people, it's a lot easier to end up in situations where you're like, oh my God, of course I have to do this again. Like, of course I have to work again with this person who I don't think is very good or very interesting because, of course, like whoever XYZ gets to hire their buddy.
It happens a lot with casting.
Yeah.
When I because we our model is ridiculous and we do things super fast at Brouhaha. So people say, why didn't you hold auditions? And I get tons of Facebook submissions. Like not even when we're not even doing shows, like people will just send me resumes and headshots, which is awesome and I love them, but I'm not looking at them.
Yeah.
I love to get them, but it's and people are like, well, why are you hiring the same people? And I say, well, it's because if I write something in a week and I have to stage it a week after, I can put it in these people's hands and know they'll say it exactly the way that I need to.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I know Nicholas often will write with a particular actor in mind, and it's not necessarily someone he's always worked with before. He's written for people he's not ever actually worked with before. I have never. I mean, in terms of Nicholas specifically, we've only ever worked together in an indie context. So I've never really been as a GM of the theater center. Never really been in that scenario, and I don't foresee it either. He's such a script-based artist, whereas the theater center, in terms of residency and who comes into residency, it tends to be more. You need a space in which to create is the kind of tends to be the artists that work there. I think it's certainly conflict of interest is something that does come up. That the question of does that come up? I think it does. I think it comes up. I think it actually comes up quietly across the country when you see artistic directors of companies regularly programming plays by their significant other. Like every season, there's a play by the playwright they happen to be married to, or what have you. And I think it's a question absolutely worth asking. And I think if you make a decision that looks like that, you better be damn well able to articulate why you have programmed that particular thing. But at the same time, there's so little money that none of us are there in it for the cushy job that we might be able to get from
I think that was my experience with
But I think we always, for the same reason, because there's so little to go around, always have those ethics in mind when we're making those decisions.
For sure.
But the short answer is like, if we do that because we do want to work with our friends. Yeah. If you want to work with someone else, show them why you're better or can work alongside of their friends. Yeah.
Right.
And it's hard. It's hard to find the
Is there
opportunity
a hard line
to do that.
between just the milder forms of nepotism and conflict of interest? Is there a hard line anywhere, or is it just?
Yeah, as long as your friend or significant other is good, I think it's a lot less of a problem.
Soul Pepper is a bunch of friends working together on shows again and again.
That was how it was found. That was how it was founded. I think it's the danger is when there are so few opportunities that by doing this thing over and over and over again that you are stopping that opportunity from being available to other people. Right. But again, with Brouhaha and the speed at which you work and and the nature, and that there's no money in it, and that everything is so quick and dirty, you need to be able to instantly grab the people you can rely on.
But like with Mustard, we saw a lot of brouhaha people for it, and it wasn't my decision because I'm not directing.
Yeah.
So
Who is directing?
Ashley Corcoran.
Oh, yeah.
But so there's no one from our crew involved in that show, and it's the next level up, and so like no one's like, I'm grumpy, but there's the desire, like, we would have loved to be seen for this.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that wasn't totally my call.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Which must be difficult. So I imagine
It's
that's
difficult, but
yeah.
like, I'm not sad about it.
Yeah.
It's the practical realities.
Yeah.
You've gotten to make new friends.
Yeah, and everyone, and it's I'm working with an entire cast of people I've never worked with, and they're all amazing.
Right. Well, maybe
Yeah.
we can just continue down that path very briefly. Has there ever been a spot where you've wanted to hire your friends and couldn't for whatever reason? And how did it go?
I often have someone in mind for a contract when I'm in a position to be able to recommend someone.
Yeah.
But it's not always appropriate to make the recommendation. It's often you. But no, but I'm not going to recommend you to design a set for a show that you wouldn't be interested in working on. But
I can't do a set. Nope. Not me.
no, you could pull it off. But I've been in a position before where I've been asked to assemble a team.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, who are my Avengers? Like,
Yeah.
who do
and then
I
you
want?
have to spend some time picking the montage music. And,
Yeah, exactly. But ultimately, either it's not a good idea to work with people I know on that project, or by the time I get to like, oh, actually, this person, like, I'm probably not the only person being asked to recommend people, so probably
Right.
someone else will get to hire their friend first.
Right. Fair enough.
I think with because I continue to work on projects, maybe like one a year while I'm jamming the theater center, I need to keep my hands in other things from time to time, and sometimes those things happen at the theater center. If I ever feel we're getting into conflict of interest where it makes sense for me as the GM of an organization saying, yes, you can do that in our building, that benefits me as the indie producer on the
Right.
thing, I will take it to Franco and say, I think the ethics of this means that you need to look at this and make the decision.
Right. Full disclosure is helpful on that point.
Yeah, I
sure.
think that's the way
Totally.
to do it.
Question?
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I was just wondering how you feel about being responsible vouching for friends. And I know that this is something that often comes up in indie and professional theater where, and Pip, you mentioned it earlier about people coming to you and saying, oh, I'm looking for this, or I want this, and I just want to get a larger perspective on that.
I think vouching for friends can be as hard, or sometimes if not harder, than working for friends, because a vouch stakes your reputation.
Totally.
It's your judgment that's on the line.
Well, it's interesting because I think the word vouch for implies that there's some deficiency there. Like because my policy is generally like if I'm a reference on a resume, it is complete honesty because there's just no other way to go in that sense, right? Like because my reputation, like you said, is on the line as well. And I don't know. And whenever I've been asked to vouch for somebody, it's because there's suspicion there. Whereas if I'm recommending somebody, yeah, totally, this person's totally qualified. Yeah. Fair. Maybe that's
I don't know that
pedantic
I don't
point,
think that negativity is necessarily implied. I think sometimes I'll get a phone call that says, I saw you work with so-and-so on the last
Right.
project. What was your experience like? And I will tell them exactly what that experience was like. And even if I'm saying, I think you should hire that person, I will say, I think you should sometimes it's blanket, absolutely hire that person. Sometimes it's hire that person and be aware of this. But I will never vouch for, I will never tell someone to hire someone that I have qualms about, unless I'm going to state those qualms. I just won't
Not
do
even
it.
as an active sabotage because you don't like that person.
It's not efficient.
Yeah, it's not efficient.
That would be unprofessional.
If you had a bad experience with someone, in the nicest way possible, I think it's important to say this didn't go well.
Yeah.
Or maybe it'll be different for you. I highly encourage that you meet with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like.
Yeah, honesty and that kind of thing is so important. Like whenever someone asks me to be a reference on their resume, I've had people like at the end of a show, say we were like a crew person and I are thrown together for the length of a show, and at the end of the show they come up to me and they're like, "Hey, I hear that you're a production manager, you freelance, I want to be on your call list." And there have been times when I've had to be like, "You can give me your information, I won't call you," and I always tell them why. I'm always like, this is what happened. This is why I feel like that. I really encourage you to get in touch with me again in a year or so. Like if it's a thing that I think you can fix. There are certain things that if they happen to me, I will never recommend that person ever again. If you are sexist, if you are racist, if you are homophobic, if you drink on the job, do drugs on the job, I will never, ever, doesn't matter what the context was, doesn't matter if you were 18, doesn't matter if you're 85.
It doesn't matter if we thought we were best friends before.
Yeah. And that has happened. And I'm like, I will never, and usually I will just be flat out honest with you. If someone approaches me and asks for a recommendation, usually I won't necessarily say exactly why I don't like them, but I will make it clear that I don't. That I don't.
Fair enough.
And I'm really lucky that that doesn't happen a whole heck of a lot.
Totally.
But it's super important to be frank about those kind of things. And I think it's super important to be frank about those kind of things with your friends. And let them know what they're doing. I mean, a lot of times when we were doing auditions for a show, and afterwards, and we didn't do it in the moment, and I kind of wish we had, but we had a lot of people who came in and auditioned, and I just wanted to be like, we were auditioning for a kids show, and someone came in and referenced child abuse in the interview portion and said that they used to want to hit kids, and I was like, well, I'm never, ever going to hire you to be in a show for children.
Although, thank you for your honesty.
Why did they say
I don't know why they said that. I think they thought they were making a joke.
Yeah, it was an attempt at a joke, and it did not land because it was not a good joke.
Because it was the worst joke you could make.
Fair enough.
And I've always kind of felt guilty that we did not get in touch with some of those people to be like,
hey, what's going on?
Hey, if it's not clear, I do a lot of mentoring. So I feel a real burden to teach people about their problems.
Yeah, I'm surprisingly often asked to recommend people, especially for crew work, and I'm totally comfortable making recommendations, and I'm really happy to be able to pass work along to people. It's the best part of being a production manager is being able to hire people that you think deserve a job.
Totally.
The place, sorry, you're not done.
No.
I'm sorry.
That's a good spot to end.
Thing. I was going to say that the place where I find it gets really messy is actors, because your the way that you see someone's acting or the way that they worked with you on a project is very different from the way someone else might treat their room or treat their directing process or their dramaturgy process or whatever. So
is that just a question of it more being about personality in that
personality, but also
rehearsal process,
how the director chooses to work.
Right.
So we're very collaborative and we're very on our feet, and you have to think really fast, and everything changes. And some actors really don't enjoy that.
I would be just a puddle of tears on the ground.
Yeah, some people are. But then I feel like I have to explain how weird my process is. So I'm like, well, if you want to be really hard on people, then don't hire this person. But if you but that's not really fair.
Yeah.
So that's why the meeting the people is.
Right.
Yeah, there have often been opportunities where people will, where I won't recommend someone for a job just because they're not right for it, or just because the job, and in fact, this happens a lot when I think a lot about the work that you and I do, because we production manage independently. Obviously, we don't production manage together. But there are jobs where you are so clearly the right production manager for the job, and then there are jobs where I am so clearly the right production, and that's because we have very different styles of work. Rebecca is extremely meticulous and very organized, and I'm very seat of my pants sometimes. I'm very quick with immediate fixes, which is not to say you're not, but you know what I mean.
But you're extremely good in a crisis.
I'm extremely good in a crisis.
And that's for the same reason. We're never in competition for the same job, even though our skill sets overlap a great deal.
Yeah.
Because it's always going to be completely obvious which one of us is the right person for the job. It's never a matter of one of us being better than the other.
I've turned down jobs and recommended you for them because I'm I would hate this so much.
I can't deal with this.
This is not going to go well.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Come to the microphone. Ask us everything.
Last call.
Scarlett's up.
What is your opinion of hiring your friends as assistants? Or working for your friends as assistants?
So being in a position of power.
A direct position of power, too.
Thing.
We've done that. Sort of. Have we? But more you're the PM, you've hired me to be your driver.
Oh, yeah.
Or
You never hire me to be your driver.
Yeah, it's because you don't drive.
Oh. So is it parceling out responsibilities in an equitable way? Because I totally have when I'm looking for assistance, and Dean won't return my calls because he's a jerk. It was just the one time, but
it's too good for you.
It's because he's a better job than I do now. Because he's better. There are definitely carpenters who I actually can't hire as my assistant because they're either better than me or it's just like they're just at that stage where it's not appropriate for them to be assistants. And I actually find it really hard. Like even if they could use the work, I find it really hard to have whatever, like, this is my shop.
I challenge you
attitude.
on that.
Yeah?
Every time I'm a PM and I need to hire a running crew, if I hire someone who's way smarter than me, my job is so much easier.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So I always hire people that are better
But
than me
you're
and who
hiring
deserve my job.
specialists in that. You're hiring specialists in that way, right? Whereas I'm, in some weird way, hiring some kind of subordinate.
Yeah.
And so I find it difficult to hire a subordinate who is nominally, like, has no right to look up to me in any way. Do you know what I mean?
To
Like,
be your subordinate,
I
right.
think it depends, because if the subordinate who's really good is good at keeping power checks in place, then I think it can become very easy and very beneficial.
Yeah.
It's just important to remember what your position titles are,
Well, I'll
because
go to
they
that,
matter sometimes.
Totally, because I'll go to that person if it's like, look, we need 40 flats in a day.
Yeah.
And there's 2 of us, and I know that 2 of us can do this.
Yeah.
And me and somebody else cannot. Then it's, I'm looking for that person.
But I think that's the answer, is if it's the right person for the job.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't not hire that person to be an assistant just because they're a friend. If they are if their skill set and their temperament like match that job, ask them. And then the worst thing that can happen is they say no.
Right.
But I wouldn't let the friend factor stop you.
Fair enough.
I think weirdly, because of the nature of the way that I work, I tend to require assistants who are a lot more independent. And so we don't come into this, like, I mean, I'm thinking specifically of JP, who I had as my assistant for Summer Works last year, where I just was like, JP, I just need you to go downstairs and do this thing. And let me tell you, if ever I had the money and the ability to just hire JP to be my assistant for the rest of my life, I would. Because all I had to do was be like, JP, and he would just go and do whatever had to happen. He's magical.
That's awesome.
He's a unicorn.
Well, yeah, everybody needs a thing doer.
And the thing is, like, we've become very good friends in part because we work so well together.
Yeah.
In that kind of assisting capability.
Fair enough.
But I mean, it's because I can trust him to do things independently by himself.
Cool.
Not because I actually need him to be like, follow me around and be like, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, coffee, ma'am.
So right person for the job, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much right person for the job.
Awesome. Anybody else? Wicked. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
And that was our special presentation of The Bellows, Friendship is Magic. The music for this podcast is by Vern Good, with voiceover by Gabriel Cropley. Please go to iTunes and give us a review. It'll help get the word out about this podcast and share the history of theatre design in Canada. And you can follow us on Twitter at TheTitleBlockCA and on Facebook.com/The Titleblock Podcast. You can send comments and requests by email to TheTitleBlock@gmail.com. And don't forget, if you like this show, support us on Patreon.com. I'm Michael Cruz, and we'll see you next time on The Bellows and The Title Block.